Okay, so RC is a very useful class for actually sharing around a single variable in many locations in your code without worrying about all these borrowing and ownership effects. Unfortunately, it's limited to just a single thread. So let's take a look at what the actual problem is. So I'm going to get rid of most of this code, and we're going to go back to the example where I didn't have the printouts all over the place. I'm just going to have person once again as person new, and I'm going to have the name in here. Now, what I'm going to do is, in addition to actually printing the person somewhere, I'm also going to make a new thread. So I'm going to spawn a thread, and I'm going to put the greeting in that thread. So I'm going to say let t equals thread spawn. And yes, for this we do have to have a use statement here. So that has to be use std thread, like so. And so coming back here, so I'm going to spawn a thread, and this thread is going to do the greeting. So we're just going to do the greeting here. I'm going to say person greet, like so. Okay, so I have a separate thread doing the greeting, and let's suppose that on my main thread I want to print out the name. So print line, and then I'm going to say name equals, and then get the name in here. Okay, and then of course I have to wait for the thread to finish, so I'll say t.join unwrap, and that's pretty much it. Okay, so we have our demo. Let's try to actually compile it. Well, I already know it's not going to work, and the reason it's not going to work is a bit cryptic. It's saying that the trade bound blah 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 send is not satisfied. So essentially, if you want to pass around an object between different threads, the parts of the object that you're passing around, they have to implement this send trait, and the RC class does not. So the RC class is not a thread safe way of passing around reference counted objects, but luckily for us there is yet another class called arc, which is short for atomic reference counting, which does exactly what we want. So in addition to RC, we'll also have arc in here, like so. And then once again we do have to change the variables, so going from RC to arc, like so. And the same goes in here, so we have to put in the arc in here, and obviously in here as well. Okay, so we have arc in all of the relevant locations, and we can now try compiling once again. So let's rebuild everything. Actually complaining about unresolved import here, which is interesting because arc is not in here. It's in the wrong place. So let's leave RC as it is. What we're interested in is a different namespace. So that's std sync, and that's where arc lives. There we go. So let's try building it once again, and we have this problem once again of the use of moved variables. So that I obviously forgot the clone in here. Let's go yet again, and hopefully this time around everything compiles, and let's execute just to see that everything works correctly. So here we have name equals John, and we have hi, my name is equal to John, so everything is fine. So the takeaway from this is that if you plan to not just pass around a variable in a single thread, but pass it around on many threads, then instead of RC you want arc, you want the atomic variety. And by atomic, what we mean is that the changes to the number of references are actually guarded, they are protected. So different threads, as they start using and stop using name, they would change this variable, which keeps the number of references, the number of pointers to this variable. They would do it in a thread safe way, which is what we want in the first place.